Hello, welcome to the EU Salt Mine. I am your host, Brian. It is the final game in the mine for our players today. For one, it is still a battle for the standings, while the other's position is already secure. Before we start, I'll say thank you to our sponsor, Manscaped. They contributed half the prize pool, the other half was given very generously and very anonymously. Fairy Peak is sitting on 3 wins and 3 losses. A win today could mean a top 4 finish in the league depending on other results, a loss leaves him somewhere nearer the bottom. oKhaliD returns from a longish break from league play, and today makes for his chance to get the perfect 7-0 in series results. But can he overcome the final hurdle? We can find out at the shore.
The man who might be the best 1v1 player of all time against the man who might be the best 1v1 player right now, oKhaliD. Trying to go undefeated in EU League play, Fairy Peak is the only one who can stop him. Fairy himself, not just trying to play spoiler for oKhaliD's league here, he would also love to improve his own standing, and he can. It's still well within his control to get up the table a few spaces. That's a brilliant early challenge. oKhaliD dominated by Fairy there, but quickly back into defense and easily saving Fairy's counterattack. Now, Fairy might have one big advantage over oKhaliD today, and that is aerial speed. Fairy is one of the fastest aerial challengers in the game, and he will challenge as early as possible on any aerial play that he can. oKhaliD has shown weakness in that department, but there's not been too many weaknesses for this guy. He's been unbelievable so far. Certainly the favorite going in today, even against Fairy Peak. oKhaliD with the bounce dribble. So scary. Fairy has to jump in front of him. And the ball bounces in. It's a mind game for 1-0 from oKhaliD. Fairy knew what to expect. He knew as soon as that bounce dribble got started that he needed to do something about it. Unfortunately, he didn't read what oKhaliD had planned. It's a good start for the league leader. Now, every game important here for Fairy. oKhaliD, not so much. He's already got number 1 locked in. Fairy Peak, he needs as many game wins as he can get here. Try and stay ahead of the pack that he's currently right in the middle of, but oKhaliD's not going to give him any easily. That's 2-0. Fairy attempts to demo him, but oKhaliD gets away. Half flips into the ball and sends it long into Fairy Peak's net. This could be a learning experience for Fairy, perhaps. You think that oKhaliD would be the one to come into this game and look to pick up a few tricks from the master, but no, he's showing Fairy how it's done right now. 2 players who have been unbelievably aggressive so far. That's so close for Fairy, but he's off target with a double touch. And he already knows that he has to make a beeline for his goal. oKhaliD pops it once, pops it twice. That's 2-0. 3-0, sorry. Fairy Peak just out of play, out of position, out of boost, and really out of ideas for how to tackle oKhaliD here. 2 players, I was going to say, who are 2 of the most aggressive, knowing when to challenge their opponents. You see Fairy really push to the limit here. He shoots into the post again. He knows that any shot other than a perfect one will not be good enough today. Nice save by Fairy in the recovery, and he might have a perfect shot here, but again, the post denies him. Surely on the rebound, there it is. Fairy Peak on the board. And as usual, he does not let these open net misses, he does not let these things going wrong bother him too much. There's another potential goal for Fairy. I don't think oKhaliD could get there. Oh, he almost did though. But in it goes. Fairy back within 1. Can never count him out. Remember, everybody who's been close to beating oKhaliD, everybody who's taken him to game 5 has failed there. Fairy Peak would love to go there, go the distance and then beat him, but first he'll have to get a couple wins in the middle of the series. This is already looking better for Fairy. Kickoffs are going brilliantly for him right now. And this one's not a direct kickoff goal, but he's got oKhaliD under huge pressure again. Fake challenge, and now the real thing. oKhaliD manages to dribble the ball back into his corner, and he's boost star Fairy in the process. This should be 4-3. oKhaliD, safe as you like, down the middle, makes it so. looked like Fairy Peak might have been chasing after oKhaliD there for a potential demo. It wasn't the kind of position that you usually expect to see one in. oKhaliD is very good at avoiding those. Not an easy player to catch out of position. Look at the reads on the back wall. He mirrors Fairy's moves left and right. Fairy Peak again struggling for boost. He's trying to keep up ball pressure. Wants to deny oKhaliD space to dribble. And that is important against a dribbler like him. Fairy Peak is playing with fire. Every time he does it, there could be a flick over his head. Another good early challenge by oKhaliD. Both players are keeping the pressure on each other very well. oKhaliD with a couple of misses offensively now. Again, look at Fairy Peak's boost. He just doesn't have any to play with. Once he's ran all the way from one end of the field to the other, he's got none left. And oKhaliD has plenty. That's 5-3. And it's just masterful again from oKhaliD. He finds small advantages here and there. Even if it looks like a perfectly normal back and forth in the midfield, he is making small adjustments everywhere he goes. That's another open net miss for Fairy. He's definitely off his shooting game today. oKhaliD, after missing one shot at the other end of the field himself, puts in this one to get his 3-goal lead back. It's like nervous shooting from oKhaliD. Of course, he has looked up to Fairy in the past and he's tried to emulate him. Now this is his day to find out if he can go undefeated in EU League play, and he's just toying with Fairy now. This is unbelievable. oKhaliD sends the ball into the post just for fun. The mind games are something else. So wave dashes under the ball to slow it down, and Fairy Peak flies by one more time. This is going to be unbelievably difficult for Fairy to come back. I don't know if it's even possible now. oKhaliD's just too good in defense. Oh, but Fairy Peak gets 1 goal. That's careless from oKhaliD. Just as I compliment his defense, he gives away the ball and a goal. Relatively uncontested. And now that we have a actual question, can Fairy Peak get multiple kickoff wins? Well, the answer is no. oKhaliD gets the first one, and that should be the game. Every time that you end up in a final minute against oKhaliD down multiple goals, you feel like it should just be oKhaliD's game from there. Doesn't give away many possession plays easily. Fairy Peak's going to try though. Try as he might. Does not succeed. Game 1 still very much in favour of the Middle Eastern player. If he can keep this up, if he can keep up this style of play, it looks like it's going to work out today. Fairy Peak not shooting as well as he usually does. Needs to step it up for Game 2.
As Johnny said, Fairy Peak needs to step things up for the next game, or he will be in a hugely challenging situation. oKhaliD has the lead, and is only 2 game wins away from the 7-win league he wants. Can he secure it?
Well, 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 if you look at that, we've got Scarab Fairy Peak. This could be a bit of a throwaway game for him, just an experimental one, or it could be the ultimate mind game. If you manage to sneak a win against your opponent in the Scarab, that's got to be one of the most crushing blows to their confidence that you could deal. Fairy Peak's going to give it his best shot here. oKhaliD already down by 1. Has control of the ball in Fairy Peak's half. He's trying to play it around, look for space, but Fairy Peak comes away with it again, and that is wide open, 2-0. Fairy Peak looking good in the Scarab so far. Who would have thought? Now, he's done this a few times in the tournament, and I have been critical of some of his card choices. It didn't seem to make sense upon choosing them or after seeing the results of those games. But so far, this one's going pretty well. Let's see if he can keep it up. oKhaliD keeping the ball pressure going. Fairy knows he's there. Has to make a play on it. And again, Fairy Peak looking to get the ball moving. oKhaliD actually jumping past it. He's recovered well. He's not played a perfect series either from here. Oh, that's picked up though. And the first goal for him does come from this offensive pressure. That's all from the ball chase after the kickoff. He could have backed off into his corner, taken 100 boost, tried to defend Fairy Peak's play, but instead he just stayed in midfield. And Fairy Peak ended up giving him the ball, and from that, oKhaliD was able to find 100 boost, keep up the ball control, and then starve Fairy and scored against him. This is the danger when you're against oKhaliD. He tries to rip another full volley into Fairy Peak's net. The rebound, top corner. And although the bounce dribble didn't net him a goal immediately, it already pushed Fairy Peak back into the goal. Fairy Peak actually read what oKhaliD was doing there, though. He expected the little cut underneath the ball and then side flip to volley it. But even if you know what oKhaliD is doing when he's dribbling, it might not be enough. Fairy Peak, again, starved of boost. oKhaliD trying to get the ball past him. That's good charge by Fairy. Gets a piece of it. Might get more than that, actually, because oKhaliD is now the one who's boost starved. Fairy Peak puts it on target, but oKhaliD stopped it for now. Fairy again on target, slowly, but surely, eventually, it goes in. And that was about to be one of the slowest goals we've ever seen. oKhaliD pre-jumped to the near post. Didn't think Fairy was able to find an angle to put it down the middle. Funnily enough, I'm not sure if Fairy Peak was aiming to put that ball down the middle. It might have been a weakly hit near post attempt. Still, he's farming well in the Scarab, and I do wonder if he can sneak a win in this car for this game. Would he stay in it for the whole series? I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't put it past Fairy Peak these days. oKhaliD snipes Fairy on the landing. Net is wide open, and he looks to run the ball in before Fairy gets there. 4-3. The constant ball pressure from both players really is something to see. They've been two of the most aggressive players in the tournament off the ball. Don't be fooled by thinking their low saves per game stats indicates bad defensive play. They don't even let each other get close enough to take shots. They don't have to save them. Again, Fairy Peak stopping the attack before it's even in front of the goal, but oKhaliD refuses to leave. And there's an equalizer. That play a good illustration of how these two like to play Rocket League. Never leaving the ball unless it absolutely has to be left for their opponent. Fairy Peak, slow play Scallon at the near post, and he's up by one again. And that was a good decision by Fairy to slow down that ball. If he had flipped into it quickly, not only would oKhaliD have saved it, but likely scored at the other end of the field. The ball would have bounced off the defensive corner, gone down the line. Fairy would have been middle of a recovery. oKhaliD again challenging as early as he can. Fairy returns the favour, and that is slowly running towards the goal. Fairy with a mind game, and he's not scored immediately, but another mind game might do it. No, oKhaliD gets a pre-jump in front of the ball, and now here comes Fairy. Look at the bump on the recovery. He's doing a great job here, making oKhaliD look beatable, but even then, oKhaliD finds a way through. It looked like Fairy had done enough there, but the clear ball wasn't there for him. And with just under 2 minutes left, he's got it all to do again. oKhaliD backing off, giving Fairy some rare space to play with. Fairy's going to try not to overextend here. But just like in game one, you can see the pressure's on him. He knows if he doesn't shoot perfectly, it's not going to be good enough. He has read that one going over the bar. Brilliant pre-jump by Fairy on oKhaliD's rebound. And there is the sixth goal for him. He's keeping in front here for the majority of the game. That was questionable by oKhaliD. If he's going to rebound that ball, there's no point in hitting it slowly. Yes, it was on target, but it looked like it was too easy for Fairy Peak to save. oKhaliD air rolls around the ball and smashes it into another open net. 6-6 in game two. You feel like it's a game that Fairy Peak has to win to have a chance here today. Nobody's beaten oKhaliD in a one-show match. Nobody's beaten him in qualifying for this tournament or in this tournament itself. You do doubt that it's possible for him to be reverse swept, but Fairy Peak's not going that way. And you know, it's been the slow plays in offense that have worked out for him this game. Every time that he fakes a hard shot and then hits the ball slowly, oKhaliD is respecting Fairy Peak's power. He's flying too far ahead of the ball. Both players have indicated mind games quite often today. That's a brilliant challenge by Fairy. oKhaliD walked right into it. Now, Fairy deciding not to rebound this. It was going to be too tricky. And he's still got that 1 goal lead. Only 35 seconds left. Fairy Peak looking to make it 2. oKhaliD keeps it out. And he's all out of boost. Fairy Peak trying to waste the remaining time. He's doing it the best way that he can. That's by keeping up pressure, not giving oKhaliD much time on the ball, not giving him much space to work with. But now oKhaliD found some, and the bounce dribble commences. This is dangerous for Fairy. oKhaliD into the bar, off the post and out. But Fairy Peak hangs on. oKhaliD still on the hunt for that equalising goal in the final few seconds. Surely Fairy's done enough. The ball bounces up though. Fairy's gonna have to back off one more time. No way. Does oKhaliD really do this? Yes, he does. A heartbreaker for Fairy. The ball cannot have been more than a split second away from touching the ground on 0 seconds, but into the air it goes, and into overtime we go. Fairy Peak trying to take it, and he will. 7 seconds in. You'll feel like he's righted or wrong with this goal. The match should have already been won, but it is now, and Fairy Peak equalises in the series.
Thank you Manscaped for sponsoring the EU Salt Mine. There's an offer code for you, Tourney20, which is a 20% discount for Manscaped purchases. The Scarab brings Fairy a win after a close second game. Will he stick with it?
And it is going to be the Scarab again for Fairy. oKhaliD, surprised I'm sure to lose to this particular car being driven by this particular player. More so the car than the player, I'm sure. oKhaliD has shown a lot of respect for his opponents in this tournament. He's still trying to get every single win. Fairy Peak seems to be hitting a good run of form at the right time though. Finishing strong in league play. He's going to need to run a bit of the gauntlet this year. He can't just wait in the grand final and see who gets to play him once all is said and done. That'll be oKhaliD's job. He's already number 1. He's already 1-0 up in game number 3 as well. This is where we find out just how viable this Scarab is for Fairy. Was that game an anomaly? Or is there more good play? Are there more good plays coming? You know, he's looking pretty tidy in the Scarab. His ball control has been on point. Shooting has improved since game 1. But oKhaliD, demo on the back wall, in a position on the far side, and slams in another one for 2-0. He is just savage. Sniping Fairy, who is sitting on the wall below him, waiting for the ball to come to him. Really can't do much waiting against oKhaliD. He's just going to come and take the ball from you, or take your car out of the game if you wait too long. Fairy Peak, again, very nice ball control. Flicks perfectly. Gets 1 goal back. He's keeping this game close. It's important that he gets on the score sheet early so as not to get completely starved out. Look at that ball control by oKhaliD though. That's just a perfect touch. Nothing that Fairy can do. He's hit this high enough that Fairy with no boost won't be able to reach it, but not too high that he won't be able to reach it himself. 2-goal game. Fairy Peak almost had an opening there to make it 1. Doesn't go all in for the pinch, lands on his wheels. You can see Fairy Peak always just getting his car in the way of oKhaliD as early as he can in every single dribbling play, but even then, oKhaliD just doesn't make any mistakes. He waits for Fairy to leave and then makes his play. That'll be 4-1. This is the challenge when you play against a dribbler like oKhaliD, when you play against a player with the amount of 1v1 IQ that he has. He's not going to make many mistakes. He's not going to overextend. Hardly ever. So, although you might pick up easy goals against someone else, it won't be this guy. You have to work for them, but FairJame is working. And sometimes, at least in Game 3, his offense is working too. Still a long time left in Game number 3 for him. Going to bring the ball down in defense. oKhaliD going to make one awkward touch on it, but that might be all he gets here. The ball is making fast move towards his goal. oKhaliD's defense, though, it's almost perfect at times. FairJame had a boost advantage there. He had oKhaliD under pressure, but still, the ball refuses to go inside the orange goal. Another little touch on the ball as he rotates out. oKhaliD slowing down FairJame's attack to give himself time to get boosts in defense. Over and over again, FairJame is being denied opportunities purely by oKhaliD's positioning and decision making. All these hits on the ball they're nothing special. They're not difficult for him to execute, but they're so effective. Just knocking the ball into safe locations that FairJame can't really utilize, buying him so much time. And as I was saying earlier, there was a lot of time left on the clock. Now, over a minute has gone since the last goal. And after that minute, oKhaliD is the one who scored, not FairJame. 3-goal game in Game 3. oKhaliD just a fake jump this time to trick FairJame into thinking he's intending to play the ball, and now walks it into the open net. FairJame falling for the occasional mind game. He tried to go for a 50-50 there. It was going to be risky either way. Had to be a huge dunk on the outside. oKhaliD not going to play so easily into that trap. He's already recovering here. FairJame thought he had time to turn, but that's simply not the case against oKhaliD, who's played a faster Game 3 than FairJame has. The bumps are certainly in oKhaliD's favour as well. A couple of goals from demos. A couple of bumps on his own back wall to help him out defending. And now FairJame turtling into position on his own back corner. Perhaps this is bait. He's trying to make oKhaliD think that he's done with this game. Reverse dribble. He might have to be done with the game if that's the best he can come up with, unfortunately. FairJame will have to make a big decision now if he doesn't have a late comeback planned. That is, will he take the Scarab into Game 4? It worked in Game number 2. It was competitive in Game number 3 for a while. That was a while ago. Since then, oKhaliD has taken the game completely under control, and he's looking at FairJame's reverse dribbling thinking, I could do better. Let me show you how it's done. FairJame wants to run the ball around a bit more though, trying to warm up the mechanics before Game 4. Just free play with a couple of players at the moment as Game 3 comes to an end. oKhaliD up by 1.
Game 3 is a lot less balanced, and I doubt FairJame will stick to the Scarab after that. oKhaliD reaches match point, and one more game like this one will be the end of the series. FairJame must have a plan though. What will it be?
We will see a different car for FairJame. And it is not the Batmobile, as I'm sure many people watching were hoping it would be. But he did already get one win in an unconventional car this series, and that's saying something against oKhaliD these days. oKhaliD's flick still relatively unsuccessful compared to the rest of his offensive arsenal, but they are good enough to keep FairJame under pressure. They're good enough to get goals occasionally. And don't get me wrong, this guy, he can flick the ball incredibly well. It's one of those things that seems to be harder to execute under pressure. FairJame playing with one of the larger boost drills in the game. When I started playing Rocket League, I thought that I could use this to blind my opponents. I was mistaken. Turns out I was the only one who was blinded as you tried to aerial for the ball. Your screen turns purple. FairJame having no such issue so far in Game 4. Already up 1 goal. This must be confusing for oKhaliD, who obviously knew FairJame was going to try and win this game with some mind games here and there, but he kind of expected it to go to the car selection screen. Probably more ready to read FairJame's mind games in front of his own goal. FairJame off target as oKhaliD recovers. FairJame's trying to do what oKhaliD did last game, and that's make little touches on the ball before he runs away into his own half or to the halfway line to get boost. It's a very nice challenge by FairJame. He's really outplayed oKhaliD here. It doesn't look like much, but this exchange was brilliant by FairJame. He's hiding behind the ball, jumping over oKhaliD's bump attempt, and then half flipping to set up his shot on the open net, 2-0. oKhaliD thinking about sealing a boost, but decides it would be too risky. FairJame was threatening to just stay on that ball, as he still is. oKhaliD just can't get rid of him. FairJame will have to run now. oKhaliD gets all the boost. Surprised to see oKhaliD not flicking the ball early at all here. FairJame is challenged on the first bounce every single time this game. oKhaliD will move the ball early here. FairJame is nowhere to be seen. He's accidentally driven past this one. He meant to pop that, ended up missing it completely, and then just gave up, thinking, well, what's the point? oKhaliD doesn't really miss open nets. I might as well stay over here, wait for it to happen. Yeah, FairJame with his kickoff, so still getting the occasional easy goal for him. This is the sort of thing that he used to do over and over again. Just collect the ball after a kickoff and put it on target as quickly as he can. How is oKhaliD recovered there? That is definitely surprising for FairJame. FairJame is staying right in his half, and this increase to the pressure that he's been generating all tournament long seems to have caught oKhaliD off guard. I wonder if oKhaliD's going to start sending the ball long on the first touch, because FairJame really is tackling so far up the field. That's a brilliant shot. FairJame off the bar, down and out, but still has oKhaliD jumping all over the place to try and clear it. Just look at FairJame every time turning on the first bounce and just making a play on the ball. He really is the most aggressive player in the league, and he's up 5-1 in game number 4. oKhaliD just can't get rid of him. He can't get a clear ball to work. He can't get a dribble started, and it's mostly because FairJame just refuses point blank to give him any space on the ball, to give him any uncontested touches. Again, FairJame right in his face as soon as he can. But this time oKhaliD does find a way through. I wonder, could FairJame have just driven straight into the ball again and succeeded? It looked like it was going to work. But oKhaliD, instead of starting to move the ball more quickly, it looks like he's going the other way. He's thinking, well, at some point, FairJame has to stop doing this. He has to stop rushing into every challenge. So I'm just going to wait for that to happen. But I don't know if it's going to happen 3 more times. Is FairJame really going to back away and give oKhaliD the dribble, set up, uncontested? In 1 minute and 15 seconds, I doubt it. Once again, FairJame already in his face, advancing, and that is 6-2. Such a brilliant strategy for FairJame. Some call it ball chasing, but he just knows if he backs off against oKhaliD ever, he's not going to get the ball back. He just isn't going to see possession for the rest of the game. oKhaliD's going to probably score on him after an extended pressure play. FairJame's going to have no boost, and his dribbles are just too hard to stop. Even if you save an oKhaliD dribble, it's not like that's where the play ends. He usually picks up the ball somewhere else and starts all over again. FairJame isn't letting him get to that stage. He's never getting into position to take an easy shot on target. Fairy's had 10. oKhaliD's only had 5 in game number 4 here. FairJame has to back off now. He's played himself with that chip shot. And oKhaliD does dribble by him, and this is now a dangerous position for Fairy. It looked so comfortable, it looked so good. But oKhaliD is coming back late in the game. Huge kickoff win for Fairy. That could be the ticket that he needs to get this game in the bag. Look at oKhaliD's ball control. If he had flicked that a bit sooner, that could have been another goal. FairJame still clearing the ball as far as he can. He stays away from any potential demo. He's running it into his back corner. This is smart from FairJame. oKhaliD needs 2 goals, so FairJame's trying to deny him all the time here, but he accidentally misses. And he's given himself a close one in the quick chat as well. That was a disaster for FairJame. He just got too low on the back wall, and a kickoff goal would do it now for oKhaliD. That would be the late comeback again. FairJame wins it. Just has to waste some time. He's playing it into the corner. No way, not again. oKhaliD, oh my goodness. Almost does it again. But FairJame takes us to game 5.
FairJame just holds off the last-second equalizer there, and brings us into the final game. oKhaliD's wins have looked more dominant, but FairJame has still found the space he needed to draw level. Who will this last win go to? I don't know.
Is this the new era of Rocket League 1v1 car selection? Are we going to see a new metagame emerge where anything works, and it's all because FairJame said so? oKhaliD still to lose in a series this tournament. He's been taken to game 5 before, but every time he gets there, he plays his best Rocket League. He doesn't seem to crumble under pressure at all. FairJame is already feeling the pressure himself. That's 2-0. oKhaliD finishing game, or rather starting game 5 as he finished game 4. I'm sure he's already fired up for this one, although he did lose in that 4th game. Just the fact that he was so close to coming back from multiple goals down must give him stacks of confidence coming into this one. Half flip boost seal from oKhaliD. Got FairJame pinned back in goal again. There he is. Hanging on here is relentless with his own determination to win. This is a problem now. This is what FairJame was trying to avoid last game for the entirety of the match. He just didn't want to see oKhaliD controlling the ball. That's what's starting to happen. oKhaliD is coming out on top on multiple exchanges in the midfield. And although FairJame saw a brief glimmer of hope there, he got the ball under control and had a 100 boost in the back corner. He just threw it away, and now he's 3 goals down. FairJame fakes a shot, flips away to the boost instead, and that is very well executed by FairJame. Just lining up as if he was going to shoot that ball, and instead dodging to the right to grab the 100 boost and actually playing the ball into a position that he could shoot it. A lot harder than it looks there, especially when you're right after a kickoff, not playing with a lot of boost. FairJame backs off. That could be costly. oKhaliD comes forward but runs into another FairJame save. Like a lot of other saves that FairJame's made this game, this one is something he can follow up on. He landed well, he had the boost. oKhaliD is not that easily beaten. 4-1. And he's giving FairJame a taste of his own medicine here. Last game, oKhaliD couldn't get rid of FairJame for the most part. He's stuck in his orange half, and FairJame was challenging every single ball. Now oKhaliD's starting to do that to FairJame. I don't think FairJame has, at least in these vehicles, the same level of ball control that oKhaliD does, so it's going to be more difficult for him to get out of these situations. FairJame with a fake challenge. He's switching up his game plan as well. Last game it was all about rushing. It's all about the aggression now. Trying to get the wins, trying to get the goals. Going one step further into the 1v1 metagame now. oKhaliD dribbling around at midfield. Fairy taking him on in his own game here. Trying to get a goal out of a long drawn out midfield back and forth. That was pretty close to a demo on the back wall from Fairy, which surely would have led into a goal, but oKhaliD's dribbled the ball to the right hand side in space. Fairy pre-jumps, comes back down, and does get in the way of it. Look at the control of oKhaliD though. He's just waiting for the easiest opportunity possible. Denying boost, denying Fairy any possession. Every time that Fairy does something, oKhaliD is already one step ahead, and this is a perfect example. Just fakes one shot and then collects an open net on Fairy Peak's weak save. 3-goal game, 2 minutes and 11 left, and just like earlier on in the series, Fairy Peak struggling to break the flow of the game. When oKhaliD gets a few goals in front, it's so hard for Fairy to claw his way back in. The air dribble bump makes it even more difficult. 4 goals now, sending oKhaliD right next to the finish line. He really wants this undefeated record, especially after nobody got it over the pond in North America. oKhaliD flip reset, top shelf shot, bar down and out though. Finally Fairy catches a break, but for how long? That's how long. Just a few seconds and oKhaliD's already in his face, taking the ball again and putting it in the top corner. 7-2 now. It was a good series. Fairy really did keep this one close. Took a couple games off oKhaliD, but is that all he was able to do? Is he going to suffer the same fate as everybody else who played against the top player in the league? Perhaps the top player in the world. Only time will tell. Fairy with another kickoff win. Keeping his hopes alive here. Reads the fake challenge. Actually gets a bump on oKhaliD after a full rotation. And I don't know if Fairy meant this. It looked like he was trying to clip the ball with the tail end of his car, but he got more off oKhaliD than the ball and ended up scoring as a result. There's still time. Fairy Peak's kickoffs have been good enough today for this to be possible, but he has to keep the goals coming. He has to keep the game messy. I don't think he's going to win in a long drawn out game. This is just too strong for oKhaliD. Even if there was time for Fairy, this isn't where he wants to be. He needs to get the ball under control as soon as possible. Minute left, Fairy takes it down. There's actually space to work with here, but he rushes the ball into the middle of the field. That's where oKhaliD was waiting. Fairy Peak into the air, wants another touch. It's going to be a dunk, but oKhaliD gets goal side of it and takes Fairy out of the game as well. Slow playing the left hand side. Fairy spawns, gets in the way, but he is in a world of trouble now. And Demo is denied Fairy any boost in the recovery. He's still working his way forward here, but the post denies him a goal that he so desperately needed. And that might do it for oKhaliD. He's going to show Fairy what the back wall looks like. And with 23 seconds left, he's up by 4. Fairy just needed to score on one of the previous 2 attacking plays, and he couldn't do it. Offensively, he's too inconsistent in this last game. Meanwhile, oKhaliD, just Mr. Consistency, gonna finish off undefeated into the playoffs as the top seed in the EU salt mine. Not even Fairy Peak can stop him. And he's really putting in some good goals now as well. This is the risky thing. When you're playing against oKhaliD, you know he does the easy stuff so well that he can beat you with that. He can beat you with dribbles, but if he feels like it, he can do all the fancy plays as well. 7-0 in league play. oKhaliD does what Fairy Peak did last year.
The final game goes to oKhaliD, and what a way to stamp down the opposition. Today's win might have been more challenging to reach than some others, but he secured it. Fairy had his chances today, and in the end could not win his final league series. oKhaliD is high above the rest in this league, with entire series wins separating him from his nearest competitor. 7 matches in, and undefeated he remains, and he will only be challenged next in the Gauntlet final. Can he get that 8th win in a row when the day comes? Fairy kept the loss close, and only just drops below Flakes in the table. He can still see his standing improve based of other league results. Thank you again to Manscaped for sponsoring the EU Salt Mine. There's an offer code for Manscaped purchases, Tourney20, which will give you a 20% discount. Come back tomorrow, and expect to see Alpha and Astral face off. Thanks for watching today. This is the EU Salt Mine. I am your host and friend, Brian.